Hey everybody, welcome back to TNZ Travel. My name is Tristan, and if you are new to our page, get ready to watch our travels around the world. On our page, you're going to learn some of our tips and tricks to staying on a budget, really delicious places to eat that we can find, possibly some new places you've never heard of before, and more. If you guys love travel as much as we do, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you guys know when we post our next video. So our last video ended up with our trip to Arizona. If you want to watch our trip to Arizona, make sure you click the link above. Today's video is going to be the last in our itinerary to the Western USA. Our last stop was New Mexico, the land of enchantment. But our last video had us ending up at a sleep-in university in Las Cruces. Now this place had free breakfast, and I highly recommend finding a hotel with free breakfast if you guys want to stay on a budget. But our first adventure was going to be the White Sands National Park. This was about 52 minutes from our hotel, and it's about $25 to get in since it's a national park, but it is free if you guys want to get that national park pass. So we didn't have a lot of time to be there, and we've already been to 2 other sand dunes. So we just wanted to keep it brief, and we chose to do 2 things. One was part of the Dune Nature Life Trail. Now we didn't go in it very far, we just kind of went up the little hill, took a peek around, maybe took some pictures, and that was pretty much it. But then we drove down a little bit further to go to the Interdune Boardwalk. Now this is just a really long boardwalk going through the sands, and when you get to the end, if you kind of look a little bit further past, it looks like there's water, but it's not really water. In the back of this hoop video that I'm doing, you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. I do wish we had more time. I would have loved to drive all the way to the end of the road to see some of the larger dunes. But alas, we had a schedule, and we did take too much time because our next excursion we were late for. Once we were done with the White Sands National Park, we drove all the way to Albuquerque. This took us 3 hours and 23 minutes, and we were expecting to go see the Rio Grande River. Now, unfortunately, the nature center was closed, so we couldn't go in and had to come back another day. But when we did get to go, you can either go in there parking, I think it's like $5, but because of the time with the COVID restrictions, they would only allow residents of New Mexico to park inside. But that was no biggie. They referenced us to just go out, go around the corner, and park on the street, which is free. And then all we had to do was take a little bit more of a walk down this bike path that went around the side. Now for some reason, I feel like I was expecting the Rio Grande River to be more grand, but it was still really beautiful. Really nice day, got to flow, got to just take a little nature walk, so peaceful. A lot of people will go biking there, take their dogs, bring their families, so forth. But after Albuquerque, we drove about 1 hour and 6 minutes to a hotel that we rented. It was this really super cute adobe house. Now if you guys are looking to stay in an adobe house in Santa Fe, it does get a little pricey. We spent at least like $400 to $500 for 3 nights, but man, it was worth it. It's an experience. I highly recommend going on to casitas.com. They have really great things on there. So there are a lot of things to do in Santa Fe, but because of COVID, a lot of things were closed. So that was a disappointment, but there were a couple of options for us. So if you go to a place called Canyon Road, it's just a road in Santa Fe, you guys will find a whole line of art galleries. Now there's some really crazy, amazing work in there, so feel free to give yourself an entire day to just go through all of them and have a peaceful art day. As an artist, it was really nice to see all the different types of art and kind of talk with the artists there to get an idea of how to possibly even get into a gallery. We also did a little bit of shopping. We tried to minimize how much stuff we bought. I just got like a gift for my mom and maybe something for me. And there is one store I kind of want to shout out. It's a place called Cashmere and Chocolates. So you can literally buy like cashmere things, and then they have this entire dome filled with all these different chocolates. And they're so good. So many different flavors. It was really fun to just kind of pick and choose some wild ones and then go back to her house and try them. And then we only did eat out once at a place called The Shed. It's kind of one of those Instagram spots. The food is really delicious, and my favorite part was trying a prickly pear margarita. So good, but it's not the cheapest in the world. For the rest of our trip, we kind of just cooked in the house. We went to a little grocery store that was nearby to make it cheap on us. But that was pretty much all we got to do in Santa Fe. At the time, New Mexico was starting to close everything down again. I think we left the day that everything got shut down. So we kind of came at the perfect time, but unfortunately, didn't get to do a lot of things we wanted to do. So once we were done in New Mexico, we actually had to drive all the way back to Denver to drop off our rental car. For some reason with Enterprise, there was not an option to get a car in Denver and drop it off in New Mexico and fly out of New Mexico. So we had to drive 6 hours to Denver to drop it off. Oh well, you can't win them all. Had some fast food along the way to make it cheap. Switched off here and there and just enjoyed the view. I think overall my favorite part of New Mexico was seeing the different types of architecture. I love the thought of living in an adobe, kind of mud, straw, whatever type of house. So earthy, I love it. If we decide to go back to New Mexico, there are a couple things that I definitely want to see. The House of Eternal Return, the Dwan Light Sanctuary, the Roswell UFO Spacewalk, the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum, and the one thing we wanted to do the most, Meow Wolf. So some things that helped us save just a little bit more money on our trip to New Mexico was definitely the rental car. Taxis can get expensive, and Enterprise has very cheap option with limited miles and a really nice option for cars. I really love the freedom that it gives us, and the cost is way less. Of course, free breakfast and the annual park pass is going to save you guys some money. And if you find yourself staying in one place for more than just one day, possibly think about an option of just cooking for yourself. So it is going to be a little bit of a time before I post another video, as travel is just not an option right now. We just want to wait until things really open up, but we definitely want to go to Japan, Germany, UK, Iceland, lots of places in South America, Thailand, the Philippines, literally so many places. I might make a couple videos on maybe packing tips, or maybe some items that I use to make videos, or possibly how I even just go into researching how to make an itinerary. But thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching this video. I hope it inspires you to get up and go travel the world. I'll talk to you guys later. Las Cruces, Albuquerque, Santa Fe, New Mexico, enchiladas, margaritas, prickly pear, everything. Rio Grande, white sand dunes, adobe.